Brooke Schofield getting married after only knowing this predator of a man for 4 months makes perfect sense. Like, it actually makes perfect sense when you're thinking about the fact that she has BPD. And the way that she talked about her ex in the past, she's like, no, I was so brainwashed. Like, I'll never do that again. Never be unmedicated, you guys. People do heal. It's just a perfect example of you can never get rid of the disease that is PPD, because people are telling her, like, no, babe, you need to, like, get the freak out of there. He's love bombing you. He's a terrible person. He's a pet. You know, he's all of these things, and she's just ignoring it and being like, no, guys, it's totally fine. It just totally reminds me of all of the relationships I've ever been in, where I defended that man with my entire life, and he literally, like, could have, like, killed my whole family or something, and I still would have defended him. Like, it's just so crazy how our brains work, how the chemicals in our brains work. But yeah, Brooke, girl, get a grip. You're already racist. Like, just don't do this.
Friendships in the influencer world always look glamorous from the outside. Millions of views, inside jokes, and carefully edited clips of laughter that make it seem unbreakable. But when it comes to Tana Mongeau and Brooke Schofield, what started as an unstoppable duo has spiraled into something much darker. Their friendship drama isn't just another falling out. It's gotten ugly. And according to leaked rumors, the story behind the end of Cancelled is far more complicated than either of them wants to admit. Because behind the neon lights of the podcast set and the sold-out tours, cracks were already forming. What fans thought was just banter between best friends was, in reality, the sound of a friendship collapsing in real time. And one single moment, one clip, would push it all over the edge. At first, the partnership between Tana and Brooke looked flawless. Cancelled wasn't just another podcast. It was a cultural storm. Millions of streams, headlines every week, a loyal fan base that screamed their names at live shows. Together, they built something that looked indestructible. Fans loved the contrast. Tana, the chaotic storyteller who could turn any scandal into entertainment. And Brooke, the quieter but sharp co-host who balanced the madness with wit and relatability. It was the chemistry that made the podcast thrive. People didn't just tune in for the drama, they tuned in for the friendship. For years, Brooke and Tana presented themselves as sisters in arms. They went on tour together, defended each other in public, and shared secrets that made audiences feel like they were watching two best friends who couldn't be shaken. But behind that image, things weren't as perfect as they seemed. According to fans who have rewatched episodes, subtle tension was always there. Awkward pauses, side comments, and inside jokes that didn't feel so friendly once you looked closer. Some believe the seeds of their fallout were planted long before the podcast came to an end. The unraveling of their friendship became undeniable in one shocking moment. On one of the final episodes of Cancelled, Tana casually suggested deleting all of the podcast episodes and rebranding the channel back into her personal vlog space. The reaction from Brooke was immediate and devastating. With a nervous laugh, she asked, "Do you hate me that much?" In that moment, the illusion of partnership cracked. It wasn't just a joke. It was a statement that made Brooke and the entire audience realize just how disposable she might have been in Tana's eyes. The internet exploded. At first, many sided with Tana. After all, it was her channel, her 2 million subscribers, her platform. But as the clips spread, the tide began to turn. Fans pointed out that Brooke had carried some of the biggest viral moments of Cancelled, from the Clinton Kane drama to the Alyssa Violet episode, scandals that skyrocketed the podcast into relevance. To suggest erasing it all wasn't just reckless, it was insulting. Suddenly, whispers started spreading. Was Tana trying to erase Brooke's contribution from history? Was this her way of taking full ownership of a show that had been built by two voices, not one? And as the backlash grew, so did the rumors. What started as a clip of awkward laughter turned into accusations of betrayal, greed, and an ugly power struggle that fans had never seen coming. When the clip went viral, the conversation quickly shifted from jokes to something far more serious: money and power. Fans began speculating that Tana's flippant comment about deleting episodes wasn't just about digital footprint, It was about control. Leaked discussions online suggested that the financial split between Tana and Brooke may never have been equal. Rumors spread that Tana, as the channel owner, was pocketing a significantly larger share of AdSense revenue while Brooke was left with less, despite being the face behind some of the show's biggest viral moments. The whispers didn't stop there. Some insiders claimed Tana had hinted off-camera that she didn't need Brooke to keep Canceled alive, that the built-in subscribers from her vlogging era were the real engine behind its success. To fans, that narrative felt dismissive, even cruel. After all, Brooke had risked her own reputation in scandals and drama that put the show on the map. Soon, speculation about who carried who dominated social media. Was Tana the mastermind keeping the lights on? Or was Brooke the hidden backbone of the podcast? The truth was messy, and neither of them seemed eager to set the record straight. But the ugliest rumors were yet to come. Rumors that had nothing to do with money and everything to do with betrayal. As the drama escalated, fans began piecing together subtle clues that hinted at a much deeper fracture. Off-camera, their relationship may have been far less stable than it appeared. Whispers surfaced that Tana had stolen friends from Brooke's circle, pulling them into her own orbit and leaving Brooke sidelined. Others claimed there had been explosive arguments backstage during live shows, fights so intense that crew members allegedly had to step in. Even darker rumors suggested that the final tour nearly didn't happen because Brooke wanted to walk away entirely. To the outside world, the tour looked like a victory lap. But to those reading between the lines, it looked like a staged farewell. Two people sharing a stage while silently at war. Then came the alleged off-camera fights. Fans speculated that there were recordings, heated exchanges that never made it online, supposedly kept hidden by insiders close to production. Whether those tapes exist or not, the very idea was enough to send fans into a frenzy. The internet began asking the question no one wanted to confront. Had their friendship already ended months before Canceled officially did? At first, the internet sided with Tana. After all, Canceled was hosted on her personal channel, a platform she had built years before Brooke even entered the picture. Many argued that Brooke should simply be grateful for the exposure. But the longer people replayed that infamous clip, the more perspectives began to shift. Suddenly, Brooke wasn't just a sidekick. She was the co-creator who helped turn Canceled into a global phenomenon. Fans remembered how her raw vulnerability during the Clinton Kane episode had gone viral, how she fearlessly confronted Alyssa Violet on camera, and how her sharp reactions often carried episodes when Tana spiraled into chaos. The tide of public opinion turned fast. What once looked like a joke now appeared to be an attack on Brooke's worth. TikToks flooded in, labeling Tana ungrateful and self-absorbed. Twitter threads dissected every detail, pointing out how dismissive her laughter seemed when Brooke asked, "Do you hate me that much?" Tana felt the pressure. She eventually took to TikTok and her own podcast to address the backlash, claiming she had only spoken flippantly and didn't truly mean to erase years of work. She painted it as a bad day, a moment of careless words taken out of context. But by then, the narrative had already flipped. To fans, it wasn't just about one comment. It was about years of imbalance, years of Brooke being undervalued. And with that shift, the rumors began multiplying. Once the internet sensed blood, speculation reached a fever pitch. New claims began to surface, allegations that threatened to completely rewrite the story of their friendship. Some fans insisted that Brooke had privately revealed secrets about Tana to close friends, secrets that insiders hinted could end careers if they ever leaked. Whether true or not, the whispers alone fueled paranoia. Did Brooke know too much about Tana's private life? Was their silence the only thing keeping the peace? Other rumors turned even darker. Anonymous posts claimed Tana had hooked up with someone close to Brooke, sparking silent resentment that bled into their on-camera interactions. Meanwhile, a different corner of the internet speculated that Brooke had entertained connections with people from Tana's inner circle, a betrayal that cut just as deep. Theories about a silent war spread across Reddit threads and fan forums, with users pointing out how icy their body language had become in the last few episodes. What once looked like playful banter now read as passive-aggressive digs. For fans who had idolized their bond, these allegations were devastating. But for others, they only confirmed what they had suspected all along: that Cancelled wasn't built on unshakable friendship, but on fragile loyalty, already crumbling under the weight of secrets. As the fallout deepened, fans began noticing something else: Tana's obsession with reinvention. Many pointed out that she seemed to be copying the exact trajectory of Trisha Paytas, stepping away from chaotic scandals, leaning into rebranding, and attempting to appear more mature while still keeping the spotlight. The comparisons weren't subtle. Tana had collaborated with Trisha before, and now she seemed desperate to follow in her footsteps, transforming her channel the way Trisha had with Just Trish. But the problem was clear. Tana wasn't at the same stage in life. Trisha was a wife, a mother, and someone who had rebuilt her public image through a dramatic personal evolution. Tana, meanwhile, was still known for messy drama and controversy. For Brooke, the parallels were reportedly exhausting. Leaked discussions in fan spaces suggested she felt like nothing more than a placeholder, while Tana figured out her next move. Some fans speculated that Brooke grew tired of constantly living in the shadow of Tana's brand, always the co-star, but never the main act. The rumors painted a grim picture. Brooke wasn't just walking away from a podcast. She was walking away from being overshadowed. And if the whispers were true, she may have felt pushed out so that Tana could fully reinvent herself, just like Trisha. But if Brooke hoped to escape the chaos by leaving, the aftermath would prove to be even uglier. When the final episodes of Cancelled aired, the energy felt off. What should have been a celebratory farewell often looked like two people forcing smiles while hiding resentment. Fans noticed the tension, and speculation spread that the end wasn't mutual. It was survival. Whispers emerged that both women had signed NDAs, preventing them from revealing the full truth. Some even believed there were clauses about how revenue from past episodes would be split, with Brooke allegedly fighting for fairness until the very end. The talk of lawyers, contracts, and dividing assets became a running joke online, but beneath the humor, there was a darker undertone. This wasn't just a podcast ending. It was a breakup. And like any breakup, the aftermath was brutal. Fans picked sides, hashtags trended, and every small move they made online was dissected for hidden messages. Did Brooke's unfollow on Instagram mean betrayal? Did Tana's cryptic tweets signal guilt? Every action was seen as proof of a much deeper rift. The legacy of Cancelled was suddenly tainted. What was once seen as one of the fastest-growing podcasts in the world now looked like a cautionary tale of ego, money, and betrayal. For Tana, it was another storm in a career full of chaos. For Brooke, it was a public unraveling of the one platform that had finally given her a voice. But for fans, the ugliest part wasn't just that Cancelled ended. It was the realization that the friendship they believed in may never have been real at all. When the dust finally settled, one haunting question remained. Were Tana Mongeau and Brooke Schofield ever truly friends? Or was it always just business disguised as laughter? On the surface, they told the world they wanted nothing but the best for each other. They smiled for the cameras, thanked the fans, and promised to move forward. But the leaked rumors told another story, of money battles, backstage fights, stolen friends, and secrets too dangerous to ever make it into an episode. For some fans, this was heartbreaking. They had invested in the bond, the sisterhood, the raw honesty that made Cancelled feel so unique. For others, it was inevitable. They saw through the cracks long ago, predicting that two women with such different ambitions could never stay united forever. And now, as they step into separate futures, the truth of what really ended Cancelled remains clouded in mystery. Was it betrayal? Was it ego? Or was it simply the inevitable collapse of a partnership built on shaky ground? One thing is certain, their friendship drama didn't just end a podcast. It created a scar that fans will never forget. And if the ugliest rumors are even partially true, this story may not be over. Because when fame, money, and loyalty collide, endings are rarely clean. So, the question lingers in every fan's mind. Is this truly the end of Tana and Brooke, or just the beginning of a much darker chapter still waiting to surface?